Being here and joining us. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be happy to answer a few questions. I know there's a significant amount of data in front of you, and we will make ourselves available throughout the day and the rest of the balance of the week to try to address the issues and the questions that might arise out of it after you have a chance to look at it, but happy to address any questions you have at this point.
How many of these state bond deals were competitively bid and or led by other agencies such as the Treasurer or?
I think you'll find some the information in there, especially as it relates to the Ohio Housing Finance Authority. Those decisions are made by gubernatorial, as I understand it, gubernatorial appointees. Right. The same can be said for the bond tobacco securitization oversight board as well.
Kevin, you mentioned that the two family members that gave money to the governor. Were either of them actually involved in Lehman Brothers at the immediate time leading up to?
No, but that's kind of the point here is, you know, here's a guy who bashes on an entire industry, and yet takes their campaign cash without any sort of regard to the fact that the reality and his rhetoric just simply don't match up. You know, we know over the course of this campaign it will become very obvious. The voters of the state of Ohio are dissatisfied and displeased with his job performance as governor. What we know over the course of the next 98 or 97 days is they will become increasingly displeased with his hypocritical actions as a candidate compared to those as a governor. And so, you know, we view the Lehman family dollars as kind of just another small little almost comical example of the way that a guy goes out and attacks an entire segment of the economy, one that is important and critical to the state of Ohio, and yet is willing to take cash from them, hoping that nobody else is looking.
A lot of the amounts in these different categories come before the fall of Lehman Brothers and the collapse of the financial markets. Do you give the governor or Congressman Kasich, for that matter, any slack for what might have happened before the collapse and what happened after?
Yeah, look, I think it's an interesting point, but I think there's an even more important one, and that is the state has continued to do business with Lehman Brothers and its successor since the fall of the financial institution back in September of 2008, and Ted Strickland has taken better than $500,000 from Wall Street and the financial services community since September of 2008. So, you know, it's interesting to talk about what happened prior to September of 2008, but I think it's really telling to look at the amount of business that Lehman Brothers has picked up and the amount of contributions that he has received from the financial services community, all the while on the campaign trail and with his allies on TV beating that industry up. All the while they're beating that industry up, he's lining his pockets with their campaign cash.
Do you know if there's been any complaints about Lehman or Barclays regarding their performance?
I'm not aware.
Yeah.
I've not heard.
Kevin, everybody on this list has got some sort of connection to Wall Street. I mean, I see there's a $500 contribution from somebody who works at Nationwide Children's Hospital, I think. You got a Nationwide insurance computer programmer in here.
Yes.
You got Don Sherman from insurance salesman from Portsmouth, Ohio. Do you think he's connected to Wall Street as well?
Well, if you listen to Ted Strickland and his allies, then the answer is yes. We didn't set the terms of definition here. The terms of definition of who encompasses the financial services industry. Mm-hmm. Who did we look up? Who did we take a look at? Wasn't something that we defined in our research. It was defined by Ted Strickland and his Democrat allies, who have used that same definition, that same broad net to catch as many people involved in the banking and the insurance industry as possible. I think it is telling, though. Here's a guy who's the governor of the state of Ohio, and goes and is demonizing the many average, the employers and the employees of many average, everyday, hardworking small businesses here in the state of Ohio. You know, we have tens of thousands of jobs related to the financial sector in the state of Ohio, largely based right here in central Ohio. Ted Strickland would have you think that they are the that they are the demons of, or that they are demons and are responsible for the complete and total global economic collapse. We don't believe that to be the case, but to your point and to your question directly, we use the same definition as the governor and his Democrat allies have used.
So Ohio-based insurance carriers are part of Wall Street?
According to the terms and conditions that the other side has laid out.
And can you remind us of particularly when he's talked insurance? I know he's talked a lot about investment banking, but
Yeah, again, it's about these are the terms that were defined by Ted Strickland and his Democrat allies. We used the same filter when we went through and looked at all of his campaign contributions. We used the same filter that they did. So when they talk about Wall Street and they talk about the financial services community, we're using that same filter to go through and look at his campaign contributions. So this is an apples to apples comparison.
But how's it fair to lump the State Farm agent with the investment banker?
Exactly. You're exactly right. You're exactly right.
But how's the governor done that? I mean,
The governor has done that with he and his Democrat allies in the way that they have defined this battlefield. They're the ones who have defined Wall Street as the State Farm agent. It makes no sense. It's ridiculous. And again, it's a nice focused group soundbite that Ted Strickland can talk about these, somebody has Wall Street values and somebody else has Ohio values. The truth of the matter is, the way that they have defined the fight, they're picking a fight with Ohio businesses, with Ohio companies, with Ohio citizens, with Ohio voters.
Got time for one more question.
Can you talk about the layman connection since the investment that was in there, since the collapse of Lehman?
Yeah, I think there's two small Ohio housing finance bond deals that went out, and there's some pretty significant background in there on those two specific deals in the packet.
And why is John Kasich not here making these points?
Because I am the chairman of the Ohio Republican Party, and this is an issue that doesn't just impact the governor's race. The governor's race impacts every race in the state, and so I think that when the people of this great state learn more, not just about the job performance, the miserable and pathetic job performance of Ted Strickland, but learn more about the hypocritical way in which his campaign is being run, in a way that I think deceives many of the voters in the state of Ohio. That will have an impact not just on the gubernatorial race, Jim, it'll have an impact on every race on the ballot this fall.
Thank you all.